ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the world of V-Gaming Junkie News. There's no dross to be found up here in the cold void of space, nothing but pure gaming-related meatiness. It's all about the electronic good stuff as we dive deep in all that's new in the various interactive virtual worlds. As I'm sure many of you are aware already, GameStop isn't doing so hot these days. Even before the pandemic hit, anyone still buying physical copies of games still has plenty of other options, and GameStop was always known for ripping you off when it came to selling too. This particular story follows a TikTok contest they made for management of their various stores. The challenge was to record themselves dancing and singing to something that's popular on TikTok, presumably to coattail off its success. The top prize is listed as 2 Amazon Echo devices, a $100 Visa gift card, and 10 additional labor hours for use during the week of Black Friday. You heard right, the winner would have its store get 10 more employee work hours for the day they need it the most. You know GameStop is really hurting when just providing basic employee hours is now considered the grand prize of a contest. Maybe we'll reach the point where bathroom breaks are considered lottery winnings. Make no mistake, I feel bad for the employees of GameStop. It's definitely the fault of the management. Being more aggressive with your hot subscriptions and deals isn't going to attract customers. Nobody likes pesky salesmen. It would seem Activision intends to release all of their franchises for mobile following Call of Duty Mobile's success. Believe it or not, I don't really take issue with this in and of itself. There's just 2 massive caveats that tend to result from that. For one, unlike late 2000s mobile games like Dead Space, mobile games nowadays tend to be shallow representations of their own franchises, Command & Conquer being an excellent example of that. Second is if they only release mobile versions of these games and not proper home releases, that can be seen as trying to take advantage of hardcore fans of these franchises. Nobody had a problem with Fallout Shelter because Bethesda was smart enough to announce Fallout 4 in the same breath. Although Fallout 4 is also kind of shallow when it comes to its franchise's RPG roots, but that's a different story, at least they had a home release to go with Shelter. Diablo Immortal was met with such backlash because Activision Blizzard showed no signs of putting a Diablo up for home systems. It probably doesn't help that they later dismissed the idea of releasing Immortal outside of phones and even insulted their own customers. When your franchise is known for not being on a phone, making something shallow in its name specifically for phones without a deeper alternative is bound to ruffle some feathers. On the subject of Bethesda, some Starfield images were allegedly leaked out, albeit of an older build of the game. Given that it has a logo that managing director Ashley Chang is seen wearing on a shirt, that would seem to corroborate the validity of these images, but that remains to be seen. Bethesda, for their part, has certainly been very tight-lipped about Starfield. I suppose I can't blame them too much. You don't want early buggy footage becoming people's expectations of the game or having the hype die out too quickly. Given Bethesda's obliterated reputation among gamers and Obsidian already beating them to the outer space RPG punch with the Outer Worlds, they've got their work cut out for them. Don't think of me as a cynic though, I'd love to see them actually succeed and overcome the odds. Everyone loves a good redemption arc. It's a reminder that it's never too late for any of us to atone for our past. It seems Epic is partnering with Nvidia to skirt around Apple's draconian iOS practices. Using Nvidia now, they're attempting to use the Safari web browser to stream the game to people's iOS devices, something that Apple actually seems to be okay with. They actually made the suggestion themselves since Microsoft wasn't too pleased with Apple's App Store policies either. Of course, none of this would be an issue if Apple would just allow you to download third-party apps without jailbreaking it like Android already does. They could always just make it somewhat hidden so you have to intentionally look for it and put some kind of disclaimer that Apple isn't responsible and that it voids the warranty. It seems like it'd be easy, but that might also threaten Apple's profit margin through the App Store, so that's why I suspect they'll never do it. As I'm sure you've come to expect by now, it's time to round this out with more Games Radar release dates. The next generation is upon us. Xbox Series X releases on the 10th and the PS5 on the 12th, and both are quite hefty. That's why I've kept the actual news part somewhat short this time. The heftiness starts on the 10th with Assassin's Creed Valhalla for PC, Xbox One, PS4, Stadia, and Xbox Series X. Liftoff Drone Racing releases for Xbox One and PS4, Fuser releases for the 4 major platforms, Destiny 2 Beyond Light releases for PC, Xbox One, PS4, and Stadia, and 13 Remake releases for PC, Xbox One, and PS4. If you think we're close to done, think again. Yakuza Like a Dragon releases for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Xbox Series X. Tetris Effect Connected releases for Xbox One and Xbox Series X, Planet Coaster Console Edition releases for Xbox One, PS4, and Xbox Series X, and Gears Tactics releases for Xbox Series X and Xbox One. The Falconer releases for PC and Xbox One, Observer System Redux releases for PC and Xbox Series X, and Sakuna of Rise and Ruin releases for PC. Did you think we were done? You fool! The following releases are for Xbox Series X specifically. Borderlands 3, Bright Memory, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Dirt 5, Enlisted, Evergate, Fortnite, as well as Maneater. Finally, NBA 2K21, No Man's Sky Next Generation, Warhammer Chaos Bane, and Watch Dogs Legion also released for the Xbox Series X. As you can tell, the 10th will be very significant both for the Xbox Series X's release as well as its launch lineup. The 12th likewise sees a huge number of releases due to the PS5's release. We'll start out with everything not releasing specifically for the PS5. Esports Life Tycoon releases for PS4 and Xbox One, Family Feud releases for the 3 consoles and Stadia, and Farming Simulator 19 Alpine Farming Expansion releases for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Handball 21 releases for PC, Xbox One, and PS4, Just Dance 2021 releases for the 3 consoles and Stadia, and Unturned releases for Xbox One and PS4. Bugsnax and The Pathless release for PC, PS4, and PS5, and Godfall releases for just PC and PS5. Sackboy Big Adventure and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales released for both PS4 and PS5. And now we get to the PS5 specifically. You've got Watch Dogs Legion, WRC 9, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Astro's Playroom to start out with. Then there's Borderlands 3, Demon's Soul Remake, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Dirt 5, Fortnite, and Maneater. Also NBA 2K21, No Man's Sky Next Generation, and Observer System Redux, and finally Overcooked, All You Can Eat, and Planet Coaster Console Edition. As you can probably see, most of them are the same that released on the Xbox Series X on the 10th. The 13th in comparison looks flat out puny, but there are still a few big releases. Notably, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War releases on PC as well as PS4 and 5 and Xbox One and Series X. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory releases for the big 3 consoles, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered releases for Switch, and finally Rune 2 Decapitation Edition releases for PC. This week's epic freebie is Just Dungeons 3. Guess they weren't going to keep releasing them by 2 forever, but hey, free is free. And as always, that rounds out this week's video game news. It sort of feels good returning to the usual setup with the sci-fi space station and all. I even added some minor improvements inspired by the Halloween one, mostly the ability to form fists and point fingers, but hey, you gotta start somewhere, right? I think the getup also looks pretty good as is too, and of course a new shorter intro always helps. As always, I Let's Play every day, 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Live streams are typically Monday and Friday at 4:30 p.m. unless stated otherwise, and news broadcasts are Saturdays at 6 p.m. This is all Eastern Standard Time. You can always subscribe and super missile that bell icon if you want YouTube to handle the time for you. A like is always appreciated, but that is it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. Spread this around like the void of space, and I'll see you next time. Now go out there and capitalize on life. Have a good one, and I'll see you next week.